We're bringing you team coverage of that shooting today. Our team of journalists has been on the ground all day talking to students, gathering information from authorities there. Our Sarah Murphy is live for us from the campus of Utah Valley University. Sarah, let's begin with you. Let's set the stage and what we know at this point.
Good evening, Brian. A heavy day here at UVU in Orem. We wish we were here under better circumstances, but we want to give you a glimpse of what we've seen so far and what we are seeing at this point. I'm live here on campus. I'm standing just a little bit in front of the Fugal Gateway building. That's the big sign they have on this. If you go through those front doors through that building, on the other side, you'll make it into a courtyard. From what we've been told, what we understand, that is where that shooting happened. Shortly afternoon, around 12:20, we're told, where one gunshot was fired. Witnesses say hitting Charlie Kirk in the neck. They describe seeing Kirk hit the ground. Now, we've heard from many witnesses today describe their own experience. Some say they hit the floor themselves. Others say they immediately ran for safety, trying to get through these doors, screaming, there's someone with a gun, there's someone been shot. We've been with them today as they've tried to process through some of these emotions and hearing the news that indeed that gunshot was fatal. We're going to bring those accounts to you, those experiences to you throughout the night. The latest we know, though, is that suspected shooter, as you mentioned, Brian, is in custody. We just heard from state and local federal leaders on this investigation. Our Kate Garner has been there covering it. Kate, I'm going to send it over to you to bring us the latest details. And I know we heard some strong words from the governor this afternoon.
Yeah, Governor Cox really didn't hold back. We heard from him and law enforcement officials. They came in saying that they had a suspect in custody earlier today. They found out that wasn't the person who shot the gun. They are now being held on charges of obstruction of justice. Governor Cox called this a political assassination, saying that this is something that is sad for Utah and sad for the nation. The UVU Police Department said that there was a single gunshot, just like you were saying, Sarah, and that it came from the top of a building nearby. They say that they had 6 officers working this event, as well as Charlie Kirk's own team of security. He said they travel with him around the country and are there to support the efforts that the police departments do at these events. Now, we do know that they have a suspect in custody, like you were saying. When they were able to identify a suspect, it was from some closed caption TV that they got some security footage. On top of that building, they said this person was wearing dark clothing, and from what they were able to gather, they said it wasn't great footage, obviously, because it's just a security camera, but from what they were able to gather from it, they were able to identify a suspect. They were not able to tell us if this was politically motivated, if this person wanted to shoot more people, what kind of gun was used, if a gun was recovered, but the governor said that they will find this person and they will prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. Listen to what he had to say.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken.
You know, talking about the beliefs that we have as Americans, Governor also said that Charlie Kirk believes in the freedom of speech and opening conversations through the use of debate, and that was why he was here at the University of Utah Valley University. He says, again, that makes this even more tragic. He reminded people that here in Utah, we do still have the death penalty. Now, earlier today, when I was making my way down to campus with all of the roads blocked off, I ran into a group of people. They were obviously physically shaken up. I asked them if they wanted to share their feelings on what they saw, and they didn't, but they invited me to join them in a prayer circle, and they took turns praying for Charlie Kirk, his family, for the police officers, and for the students who witnessed this. They also prayed that the suspect would be found and prosecuted again to the fullest extent of the law, just like Governor Cox was alluding to. Sarah, back to you.
Our Cade Gardner sharing the latest with us that we learned from that press conference today. Cade, we appreciate it very much. We know Governor Cox called what happened today a political assassination. You heard from him there. You heard what Cade described. Governor Cox taking this very seriously, using some strong language today, describing what happened today was unacceptable and what might happen in the future to making sure there are consequences for today's actions. Cade also mentioned the emotions of some of the people who were there, who witnessed it all, who were involved. Continuing on with our team coverage, our Bayan Wang has been speaking with many today. He's been here for hours, hearing their firsthand accounts, their firsthand witnesses. Bayan, I understand you're talking to even more this evening. I'm going to send it over to you now to bring us the latest on what they have to say.
Well, there are so many people across the nation that have been condemning this sort of violence, and a lot of the students, as Sarah and Cade were both talking about, hit their knees. They were saying prayers, and one of those students said he saw a group of people doing the complete opposite. He said when he hit his knees and started praying, he looked up and he saw a group of protesting participants who were fist bumping and appearing to have been cheering. And that's why we're hearing so many of our political leaders condemn this kind of violence, including former presidential candidate and former Vice President Kamala Harris, saying we have to ensure that violence does not arise out of something like this because of that exactly. People cheering on violence like this. I want to go ahead and have you guys take a listen to an emotional account from one of the students who were there. Take a listen.
They talked about transgender gun violence, and then as the guy said shooting or shooters or something like that, you just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry, you just see his neck just like open up and there's just like so much blood that just came out. It was horrible. And all I felt was like everybody bringing me down to the ground. And I was, sorry.
Take your time, okay.
All I hear is screaming and I see people running and I'm like, it's not safe to run. It's not safe to get up. It's not. And all I'm saying is, please God, please God, please God, because I don't want to die. I don't want anybody else to die. And I think I just saw a guy die, you know? And we ended up getting up and about 20-30 seconds later and running into the building, and they took all the witnesses that were pretty close, me and about 12 other people, and we sat there for about an hour and we're all just crying and seeing people posting the videos on social media. It was horrifying. It was horrible. I looked to see if there was a shooter. I didn't see anything. All I could see was Charlie was taken right away, and we were just still on the ground freaking out, not knowing what to do. And I would never wish death on anybody, no matter what opinion. Like, there's no reason for that. Like, we're all children of God. We should all love one another. I don't understand why you would do that to somebody who obviously has a family, or somebody in general. And then also for so many people to see that too. Everybody, all people involved now all need help. We all need a way to process things like this. I've never seen something like that.
And it's Danielle, right?
Danielle,
yeah,
yes.
Danielle, you saw Charlie Kirk talking to Senator Mike Lee just a couple days ago on his channel on YouTube, calling Utah a beautiful state. This was a planned event here at UVU.
Exactly.
What was the climate? We know that sometimes there's students that kind of object, but was it contentious, or would you feel like, what was that like?
I mean, I don't think Charlie is necessarily contentious. I think he's very good at saying his points and being very blatant if you're interrupting him. There was only maybe, I would say, 60 people on this balcony that couldn't even see Charlie. They were like on a balcony above like his tent that were all saying, you know, chanting F Charlie Kirk, things like that, and had signs saying some pretty upsetting things about him. That was it. Everybody else was drowning out the sound and saying how grateful we are that he took the time to see us and talk to us. We had questions. We wanted to talk to him, and instead somebody selfish didn't care.
Yeah, and to be clear, I wasn't saying Charlie Kirk was contentious. I'm describing the climate, because you see the environment that he was in, and there's so much support. From the videos I saw, there was an incredible amount of support for students who were just looking forward to Charlie Kirk coming and speaking to them. Let me ask you this, Danielle. When you guys were entering the building ahead of Charlie Kirk speaking, what kind of law enforcement presence did you see? Were they patting down students? What kind of checks were there before people got on campus?
If I'm going to be honest, I had friends coming in asking if they needed tickets, and I said they didn't even check for my ticket, which I did get a ticket. They did not pat us down. I feel like I maybe saw 3 or 4 police officers in this whole environment of hundreds of people, I would guess, which I thought was a little odd, but at the same time I thought, well, you know, it's Utah, which is probably an ignorant thought to think, but there was not much security precautions taken. There was none.
And you're saying you were 15 feet away from the stage. You were up close and personal with Charlie when he was speaking. Did it sound, and no worries if you don't know this answer, I don't suspect you might, but did it sound like the shot came from behind?
Yes. It sounded exactly from behind us, and that's why I was so worried, and I looked, but I couldn't find anything. But you could also see, obviously, from the way that the blood just, it definitely was from behind. So, or in front of him, I would say, you know, but.
You guys all get down. Describe the moment you guys tried to escape.
I just saw everybody running, and I ran in, like, the second people started getting up, I'm like, I don't want to be left here alone. I didn't want to get up. I wanted to stay there because but I also knew I needed cover in case. And so I just started leaving with everybody, and all I could think is like, is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? It's just, oh my gosh. But it was beautiful the way that we all came together, like people praying over one another, people loving one another, people asking if we're okay, sharing numbers with total strangers just to check up on us after this, not just now, but later. I thought that was beautiful how we as a party came together and loved one another in this horrible time. Obviously, I'm inconsolable and so many others are, and we still united in prayer.
And I love that she ended the interview that way because Charlie Kirk was a devoted Christian. Those were the principles that he stood by before even his political beliefs. And we're also hearing from participants who are just now starting to head out of campus, including Eric West. Eric, if I could have you step into our frame here. What was this like for you? You're just getting a chance to leave campus.
Well, I've been here for 5.5 hours. I was here 45 minutes before it even started. It's a good chance to talk to people, figure out the pulse, and support Charlie and his belief in the Lord Jesus Christ and what he's saying about what's going on in our country.
And you were anticipating coming to this?
I took off work. Right? I took off work, absolutely.
Because Charlie is a huge deal. You got here 45 minutes earlier. Can you describe, just as people were starting to come in, the kind of security or police presence you saw here?
I've graduated from Utah's Police Academy, California's Police Academy. It was very bad. How I walked in today, I was blocked from seeing a BYU football game, dressed the same exact way, having the same thing in my pockets today. I was blocked from a football game.
And our Brian McElhan mentioned this earlier in our coverage that obviously it is legal to have a concealed carry, even on college campuses like this. We were wondering, and you know this, Eric, Charlie is such a profound speaker and a political activist. He goes to so many different campuses. We were wondering, did police pat down anyone with concealed carries? Because you had yours on campus today, right?
Yes. Like I said, just as I was dressed today, I was blocked to go to a BYU football game. And I was arguing my jug of water, or I could have got into the BYU football game.
Right.
I was arguing the football, or the jug of water, and then we were talking about what else was in my pocket.
Right. Okay.
But I was blocked at BYU football, not at here today.
Right, okay, so at BYU...
Dressed the same way.
So there's some school discretion on whether you're able to walk in with a concealed weapon or not. You're saying at BYU they asked you to put it in your car.
I had to walk 2.5 miles back to my car.
Here, not even a pat down.
Not even a pat down. They didn't even do the speakers. You couldn't even hear Charlie. And this is not his first rodeo, but it looks like it's his last rodeo. I bet you the school put restriction on where they could put the speakers. We couldn't even hear, and talk to 60 to 70% of the people could not hear with the speakers.
And I know you're a staunch advocate of the Second Amendment. This is not a Second Amendment debate at all, believe me. My question for you is, because you've been following for Charlie, you know how contentious these things could be.
Well,
do you think there should have been...
Truth breaks up people.
Do you think there should have been additional security measures at the door, even for people coming in with concealed carries?
Well, I interviewed with Secret Service in 1992, and they told me you're a white male, we don't want you.
Okay.
So this horse sense has been going on for 35 years.
Okay, Eric, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Brian, we'll go ahead and send things back to you as this is still developing. A little more information from the presser. They do have somebody, a person of interest in custody, but still a whole lot more questions than there are answers.